Hello, I am VoiceOver AU, also known as Kevin Powell. I stream games because I love playing games and I also love exploring the world around them. I'm an avid gamer, I've been a gamer all my life. It was games that brought me actually to performing in games as well. Tonight, do we have do we have a session? We've got some big times coming. We are going to hit the end of Fallout 1. After what's been, I think if I look back over logs, I think we've been here for probably about a month, 2 months, I think, playing through Fallout 1. And it's been a huge journey. Tonight, there we go. Let's get that desktop and the desktop audio going. Tonight, we are going to, by hook or by crook, defeat the Master and we're gonna jump into the world of Fallout 2. It's pretty exciting times. Now, before we get started, I wanted to give a couple of shout-outs. Thank you so much to Scar Albo and Undead Officer for the follows, which I believe happened after Wednesday night's stream, which was The Evil Within. I'm starting to stream some horror games as well. So thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Speaking of Wednesday night stream, I'm starting to experiment a little bit more with selections of games and time slots. Have a look at the schedule widget on the channel and you'll find what's coming up in the next week, because I've got a little bit more time on my hands there. So I'm curious to see, with a poll that's on that front page as well, what people would like to see more of. I'm looking at streaming Fallout again on Monday night. Sunday nights I don't think are a really great time slot in terms of who's actually on Twitch. So I'm starting to see, apart from this time slot, Friday night, 9 to 11 p.m., maybe even creeping back to 8:30 p.m. next time around. This is the one that's locked in. Let's see what else works that's out there. So, as a brief recap, we got to the bottom of the vault underneath the cathedral. We got to the Master. The Master brutally killed me multiple times. We are up to now 41 deaths. That's where our count is at for the whole game. Which, given how brutal the game is, it's not bad. But you know, we really got a few additional deaths ratcheted up on that counter during the last session. So, I've done a little bit of digging in the meantime, and I'd hoped to be able to reason with the Master and talk things through. But there's an important component that I missed in terms of what I need to do in the game. So that's not going to be possible, but there were a few other options. I don't think fighting the Master is going to be the smartest choice here, so let's see what else we can do. We might need to actually go down the path of filling in the gap in terms of the Vault Dweller's knowledge in order to be able to talk to the Master, but let's see what other options we've got on the plate. So, let's do it. I'm excited. Please do as well. Check out that poll on the front page, because that's going to give. There's a couple of questions there that will give me some really useful information in terms of just how people are finding the stream and what you'd like to see more of. Fail to learn anything. So what I'm expecting to find here is that one of these computers should have a specific function. Doesn't look like it though. That's interesting. wonder if what I'm looking for is actually in that other room. Alright, take number 1. Let's try theory. No, it's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I was hoping to get. See, I had the chance to pick up a set of robes earlier, but I scorned that chance. Alright, let's bring the ruckus. Wow, you're tough. No? Okay. These technicians are not messing around. Here's me thinking that would be a cakewalk. There we go, that's what I was expecting. Alright, let's do the whole blocking line of sight. Could do with one more action point. Alright, so they're not too tough. I'm just doing a bit more damage than I would have hoped. Now, those 4 action points will let me grab some stim pack. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to grab a set of robes, hopefully, from one of these puddles. And I'm going to see if I can get past the master, because the thing I'm looking for is not there. It's not in this room. Which I guess makes sense. I guess it makes sense that I would have to get past the master in order to be able to do what I want to do. We'll see how we go though. Alright, let's pop that sneak back on. Thank you. Well, at least I was able to do that with no super mutants. That's kind of what I was fearing. That killing them that way, or with that weapon. I wonder if it is specifically that weapon that means that I don't get their uniform. It's frustrating. Alright. So that's not going to work the way I want. Let's head down here. Oh wow, sneak seems to be working. Oh no, there we go. There's no door in here, so it's not...
So what shall it be? Do you join the Unity, or do you die here?
Join.
I don't have to prove anything to you.
Prove.
Very demanding. The Unity will bring about the master, of course.
Mutants are best equipped to...
We are all biased, are we not? We won't change. Not unless we are of one people. You think you...
That's not how I expected that to go. There's no way through here, though. So there's nothing past. Okay, so there's nothing past the master. Alright, let's try that again. Alright. And these computers in here aren't doing what I want. None of those are. Alright. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm going to do the long shot version then. Well, not a long shot, but it's going to take a little longer. The long time version? Call it what you want. Let's go all the way up. Oh, and I must always forget to record my game capture, because I've got everything heading up to Twitch, but I've also got, independently of that, it's going to be difficult getting out of this nightmare. Yeah, independently of what's actually going up to record on Twitch, I also record like raw game capture as well. Just in case I want to do something with it. I would like to get out of here without having to face any more nightmares. Well, at least I know that I'm super well prepared now. I've switched over the headphones that I'm using for this. I've pulled out the old Astros because I'm starting to stream on the PlayStation as well. And for that, I need to use something that has an optical out. And I've had a pair of Astro A30s. I'm pretty sure they're A30s. I've had those for 8 years now. I picked them up... yeah, it would be 8 years. I picked them up at PAX 2010 when I was over there. And they have lasted me that long. And so I've started using those. They're a bit more comfy too. Hey everyone. Actually, so I can... There's a plan that should work without me needing to leave, but I'm missing something there. Road history. Right. That's just the history of them. Well, not just. Captain Maxim. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. We've read through that before. Because that's how we find the, that's how we find out about the group that went down to the glow. The glow. Because you're worth it. Now, I was really rough on the Children of the Cathedral and their beliefs. I think I've actually ragged on them several times. And I have been continuing to go through The End, which is about secular and religious study of the end of the world, which is... What am I doing? I feel lightheaded. Eschatology. Why do I feel lightheaded? What's happening? Chem withdrawals, maybe? Oh, let's turn that off too. Because I'm going to want that when I head back into the base, just in case. Yes, I've been really rough on them because they have some pretty out there beliefs. They're cozying up with the Master, who, as we've seen, is basically a bundle of flesh draped over an overseer's chair, who has continued to grow throughout the base and presumably is continuing to grow through there. So, he's not the most altogether representative of sanity that you could maybe hitch your wagon to. But. The reason why I believe I may have been unduly harsh. Oh, hang on. Let's not do that, actually. These people don't take kindly to me having weapons around, so let's just put that away. I was reading through, or listening, because it's an audiobook, I was listening to a section that was talking about dispensationalism and the whole prophecy of Israel leading to Armageddon, leading to essentially a series of events that need to happen in order for everything to get a lot better. Sophia, okay, so I've been in here. Essentially needing to usher in the end times in order to bring in a time of paradise, like what you have, say, for example, in Norse belief, where Ragnarok is part of the cycle that then recreates the world, and after Ragnarok, there is a kind of, from that point forward, there is a kind of paradise. There are a terrifying amount of people who have their hands on the levers of power who believe that in the US, and it also talks about their counterparts in the Middle East, who have differing versions of the same thing. And it's kind of hard. It really does become difficult to be so down on a fictional group of people having those kind of beliefs when simply because they're implausible, when a real world group have kind of the same beliefs. Very widespread. You see a scribe. You see a scribe. I think I'm on the wrong floor for what I'm trying to do. There is a tape I'm missing. There's information that I did not get when I was here first time around because I was hasty. Was the hasty tasty breakfast pastry? Hasty tasty breakfast pastry. But yeah, it's terrifying. Oh yeah, I'm on level 3. I should have been on level 2. Because the children of the cathedral, arguably, have more evidence for what they believe. I mean, the master's post-human. Let's try level 2, I think. The master's post-human and capable of transforming life. So you know, that's something. Oh. You're not actually who I want to talk to. I don't believe. Do. Let's see how we go. Alright, let's try level 4. Trying to find someone who's going to give me some information I don't have yet. It's very important. Sad to hear about Burt Reynolds passing at the start of today. Another one of those icons. Someone whose work is so wide-reaching. Oh, is it up here I was going to go? Let's go back up here. No, not here. Unless there's something in there. Yeah, I'm sure Maxim does seem a bit stressed. Yeah, did you not hear Damien Wise? He, oh, I suppose that's a terrible way of framing it. Yeah, he passed away. It's one of those things where you only really hear, I guess, if you pop on social media. Dude's an icon. So I'm sorry to be the person to break the news to you and to do it so crudely. But yeah, we lost another one of the big ones. Oh, okay. That's where you are. Oh. Hey, son. Thank you for joining us. I realized there was an important component that I was missing to wrap up the game non-violently. I did a little bit of research and preparation for tonight during the week, and I'm glad I did, because when I saw the stats for the Master and trying to defeat the Master in combat, that was not going to happen. Oh, wow. I didn't know that he'd recently completed a film. I mean, it's great that he has, because it means that there's at least some more of his work for us to engage with. And yeah, he really did kind of transcend like a whole different era through to now. Hang on, why aren't you there? Thank you for reminding us, Codsworth. Tonight's question is, what is the best thing that has happened to you this week? Because it is a Friday night stream, and it's good to look back over the week. Oh, there you are.
Greetings. It's a fine day for learning. Can I help you? I record the knowledge of our ancestors for future generations. Yes, I guess you could say I know stuff. What can I help you with? Use your Pip-Boy 2000 to read the discs. Insert the disc into the reader. If you have, go ahead. Speak to the knights. Ask them to show you one of the latest. Go ahead. Use your Pip-Boy 2000 to read the discs. The Brotherhood has some automated courses that you can take.
Hang on. Why is my intelligence still 5? That's still chem debt, I guess. Bugger. Alright. I thought the travel would have worn that off. Hang on. Why is my intelligence down so far? Worst thing you could quit smoking, best thing quit smoking. Yeah, okay, that's definitely the best of both worlds. Kudos to you for taking that step. That's a big one. Feel better, alright. There we go. Didn't realize I was still lobotomized by drugs. Alright, this should work now.
What can I help you with?
It's causing
Between the nuclear and biogenic weapons used in the war, it's surprising we don't have more mutations. However, if we can hold out, everything will be okay. All the mutants I've studied have been sterile. They can't breed with another creature. If we could clean up the mutation sources, we should be able to simply outlive the mutants. Here, take this holodisc. It's got copies of my autopsies on mutant corpses. It clearly shows that no mutant could possibly reproduce successfully.
There we go, folks. I should have realized with the chem indicator that I was still suffering the downside of those drugs. I like the game balance of that. I like the fact that there's definite downsides, because that had literally lobotomized me. So how's the withdrawal symptoms treating you today, son? I take it from what you're saying, the nicotine gum is a very good friend at the moment. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk the master to death. I actually had hoped to just go in there and set the nukes off, but I don't want to go back and read the notes on where the terminals are, because I thought they were the terminals that I was just walking past on the way to him. So I'm confused about where they were, and there's nothing past the master that I could find. But there's a kind of symmetry. There's a kind of symmetry in ending all of this non-violently. Like, if the one thing that I do non-violently is deal with the master, it feels like a nice wrap-up. Given what's happened in a couple of different towns, having to destroy the gun runners, leveling Aditum. 2 towns. Yeah, so it feels like there's almost something twisted in that. Like the only creature that the only thing that Jacob can really reach, can really connect with, is the master, who is a monster. I don't know. I think there's something kind of neat in that. Oh, wow. That was weird. 2 points of health damage. Thirst. It's because I don't have my Braundo. It has what plants crave. How's your week been treating you otherwise, Damien Wise, apart from coming in here to get bad news from me? Oh, it's your family more rats. I'm not going to shoot you guys. 2 user manuals are co-written and edited for a couple of products about to be released. Months of work. Oh, cat sitting. That sounds like a great week. Yeah, getting those projects off your plate, especially if they're high visibility inside your work, that's got to feel so good. I actually had a pretty similar thing happen this week. I was kicking myself because I hadn't been paying enough attention to VO, even though like I've had gigs coming in that I haven't been chasing. There's always that feeling could be doing more. But then I sat down and I realized, I've actually been spending a chunk of time this week getting my day job pressure out of the way by dealing with a high profile gig. So kudos to you, man. 200 pages, especially for high density information like that. That's a lot of work. Like, mentally, does that feel like you've kind of been able to put a load down off your shoulders, or was it at a point in the process where you had been able to disengage from it mentally? Cat sitting's definitely cool. Yeah, cats are awesome. The irony, son, of making an ashtray out of nicotine gum. There we go. It's another poignant irony there. Let us invoke the spirit of Alanis Morissette this night. Alrighty-o, folks. Showtime. Oh, fantastic! That was Ashen's something? The space opera, if I remember correctly? And Trail of Cthulhu? Doot, 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 doot. I remember us talking about... Oh, good. Fantastic. Well, these chats are they're a highlight of my week, so... Like, I remember what we talk about, or I try to. I remember it a lot better than I remember the layout of Necropolis, that's for sure. Hang on. There we go. Now I'm invisible. Ashen Stars, thank you. I couldn't remember the second word. Ashen something. Ashen... So has that been a big chunk of this week? Like sitting, just chilling out and reading through them? Sweet! That sounds like a very good week. Dear listeners, I did mention this before, but I have a couple of polls up on the front page for the channel. Just asking... Oh, nice! Do you play Blood Bowl... Do you play Blood Bowl regularly? I have a, there's a couple of polls that are up on the homepage for the channel. It would be fantastic if you could just, at some point, if you haven't already, just let me know your thoughts on those. Sweet. It's just with a view to giving folks more of what they want going forward. Whoa. Someone wasn't sneaking. Alrighty go. Oh, no, let's not do that. That's okay, I'll come back later. I can see you're all very busy. Oh, that's awesome! Oh man, being able to share hobbies with family that you're passionate about is the best. Stop poking me. You can all stop poking me. Do you have a preferred teams that you play? Hey everyone, I think this is my floor. There we go. Let's pop that on. And let's pop that on. There we go. Oh. The game remembered where everyone was. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't do that. Alrighty-o, folks. This is what you get for kind of sleepwalking through crowds. It never ends well. No, do I remember correctly that I had at least one pulse grenade? No, I got rid of that. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear more about what those devices are, Damien. Sounds intriguing. I don't want to get rid of the... I don't want to get rid of my stealth, though. We'll be here when you get back. Alright, there's enough creatures here that I'm now thinking those grenades are a solid investment.
Your life ends in the wasteland.
Now, pop quiz. When was the last time that Kevin saved? I can tell you, it's not since the start of that session. Nyok, nyok, nyok. Alright, let's do that again. Whoops! Gotta go all the way back. Pick up that disc. And come all the way back. Gotta pay attention, folks. Gotta pay attention. Part of me really is curious about where those nuke terminals are. Because they're in here somewhere. And I would have thought they'd be down here. But those are just generic computers. We'll go back and we'll do it all again. Whee! That's okay, we know where Vree is this time. Alright, let's turn running on. Do, 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 do. So those two user manuals, Damien, if you can talk about this, are they for the same company? Or have you been doing freelancing as well? Because I've got to confess, it's been so long since we've caught up, I'm not sure where you're actually working at the moment. Do, 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 do. Kevin will remember. See, what happened there is I was in this fugue state of going, I know what I'm doing. It's end times. I was sleepwalking the ball on the last 5 yards. Don't do that. Because you might be in a Bruce Willis film where someone's going to pull out a gun while playing football. Just a very Blood Bowl thing to do. Last Boy Scout. Where they take the... Oh, guys, don't do it. I don't want to kill a bunch of Ians. I don't need to. I neither want to or need to. I'm just going to walk away. I'm just walking away. With me in the power armor, it really is like the scene where he comes out of the cave in Iron Man 1 and bullets are just spanging off him into other people. Spang. There we go. The man they call Spang. Oh wow, we're almost 45 minutes in. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that, Damien Wise. Like, it's great to be in a situation where you've got a team that you love. I'm going to the wrong place. Yeah, you deserve that because you've had some pretty rough situations along the way, work-wise. Come on, folks. Do, 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 do. There we go, it's just a minor deviation. And so of course, now that I'm retreading old ground, of course, everything wants to fight me. Alright, where are we? Guys, just say no. No, 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 no. Really want to get this ball to the end zone. I'm so curious to find out. Oh, while I was doing, incidentally, while I was doing a little bit of prep for tonight, just to make sure I had a viable path, and I wasn't going to spend forever just banging my head against a brick wall, I found out something very interesting. Which is... literally the moment after I said that, I just forgot where I was going with that. Where am I going with that? Wow, mid-train of thought. Oh yeah, that scene in Iron Man 1 is amazing. And like, as much as cinema has a bit of a problem with fridging minorities to power up the vengeance arc of characters, I love that the handoff. Hang on. And I'm gonna go and check a character's name here. Because I've got to confess, I can't remember, which is terrible. It's been a while since I've seen the film. But he does such a great job and turns up in Iron Man 3 that he deserves to actually be known, rather than just blah 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 blah. There we go, yeah, Yinsen, Sean Tower, Yinsen. Yeah, that handoff and giving, there we go, let's just get that resolution going again. Woo! Yeah, that handoff to Iron Man, or to Tony Stark, of just believe, is such a, it's a beautiful moment.
Greetings. It's a fine day for learning. Can I help you? What can I help you with?
It's causing mutations.
Between the nuclear and biogenic weapons used in all the mutants I've studied have been sterile. They can't breed with another creature. Here, take this holodisc. It's got...
Alright, there we go. Now we've got it again. Yeah, and I love how later on in the film, and that kind of leads into the arc for Iron Man 2 to some degree as well, how his problem becomes how subsumed he is by that corrected course. Like, he clearly has, the dude clearly is obsessive in anything that he does. And that there's that great line even in Iron Man 1 of, there is nothing else, there is only the mission. And then just how many times going forward, the problem becomes Tony Stark wants to do a good thing, and it goes horribly, horribly wrong. Now I'm trying to remember, what was the thing? I literally lost the train of thought that I was going through halfway through. There was something that I read up on while I was looking at ways to complete Fallout 1. Can't remember what it was though. It'll come back to me at some point, hopefully. I will blurt it out. Okay, you guys can all go away too, please. Yeah, it's still so interesting looking back over that franchise too, how Marvel purely, well, it seems like from what I've heard, there may be other stories and maybe other reasons behind this, but it was at a point in time where Marvel was basically fire sailing their adaptation rights. X-Men were the hot thing when I was growing up, and X-Men were the Marvel property. It was their crossovers that set the tone for everything else. It was their stuff that affected everyone else. All of the big crossover events tended to come from things that were happening in the X world. I'm trying to remember what the big Gonzo demon one was that actually lost. I think it, if I remember correctly, it lost Spider-Man his wife. Mephisto. Yeah, it's been way too long since I've read it, but there was a crossover. There was a huge crossover event where New York became infested by demons because of something that Forge did. And so Sony, when they were looking for adaptation rights, rightfully picked up X-Men, most popular property. So they sold that off. Blade was an interesting choice. I don't know if that was a vanity project. I don't know if that was a vanity project for Wesley Snipes, but that was one of the early ones too. But yeah, X-Men were the thing. X-Men were the shit. And then Marvel, when Marvel starts ramping up their own cinematic universe, they take Avengers, who were popular, but like Avengers were never their, like that was never their number one property. It was never their biggest seller. And now, like, you ask anyone who the most iconic characters are in the Marvel Universe, and they'll start listing off the Avengers. Do this again. I really do wish now I could remember what it was I was about to blabber about earlier. Because when I read through stuff, I was reading through Paths to Endgame. No, I got nothing. It might come back. Anyway, yeah, I got halfway through a thought train. I gave all of the precedent for it, and then I lost my train of thought halfway through. Because I'm just that smart. Robes. I might pick up those. No, I can't. I literally can't pick up robes. Fantastic. We are back at the point that I was at before because I didn't save. And I didn't sneak walking past the robots, and that was a big mistake. Which I paid for. So, you didn't miss much. Yeah, I was trying to remember there was something that I read that was really interesting when I was doing my prep work for tonight, making sure that I had a path forward for finishing the game, but now I can't remember what it was. Because it's not the Master's combat stats. It's not riveting. I don't know what it was. Anywho, we'll survive. So, this time around, sneak past the robots. Although, to be fair, I think I actually might have had sneak on. It's just that level to level, it popping off. It was a bit of a pain. Maybe that was it. Let's blame that. Let's blame the interface. Hang on a sec, folks. Live. There we go. Studio mode messes with my scene transitions sometimes. No? You're not going to do that for me? You're not. Alright. Let's try to switch over to there. It's not going to do what I want because it doesn't bring up the current chat, which is a shame. Your point was really interesting, Damien, so I wanted to bring that up on chat, which is why I was just messing around with my transitions. But that's not going to... Let's pop out of studio mode. Yeah, it's not going to do what I want. Tony Stark was at a death's door and had to physically rebuild himself in the short-term sense, but as far as his psyche and personality goes, until then he was directionless and part of the problem. Stark Enterprises making military equipment selling to anyone. Space of a few minutes, everything pivots. The physicality of it is impressive, but his personal transformation is what makes him a true superhero. Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to love the imagery of him having a fragment of, from memory, it was his own weaponry, wasn't it? The actual blast that got him. Yeah, it was, because there's that shot of him and you see the Stark Industries on the bomb. Yeah, a fragment of his own weapon close to his heart, and just moments away from forever killing him, and his own technology then staving that off. Yeah, there's layers in there, and what they do with that, it's a beautiful origin, or a beautiful transition point for the character. It was really well done.
So what shall it be? Do you join the Unity, or do you die?
Alright folks, this could be it.
Die!
Join.
Die!
Yeah, sort of Damocles. That's a really good way of putting it. Alright, if you can prove... Alright folks, let's do this. If you can prove to me that your unity is the best course of humanity, then I will help you. Oh wait, what if it's John Wick? If you can prove to me that your unity is the best course of humanity, then I will help you.
I don't have to prove anything to you!
Prove.
I can't know you represent the best future unless you prove it to
Very
me.
demanding for one in your tenuous position. The Unity will bring about the master race.
Master.
Master! One able to survive, or even
Thrive.
in the wasteland.
That race.
Of course.
Mutants are best equipped to deal with the world today.
Who else? The ghouls? Please. Normals? They brought nuclear death to us all. This will be the age of mutants. Mutants? All that resist? Yes. And all those that are required for the
Unity.
as well. The remainder will be allowed to live out their days, but under Unity control.
And protection.
But none shall breed, for they will be the last of their race. And what is that?
I happen to know that your mutants are sterile.
Preposterous! The FEV2 virus doesn't destroy the reproductive organs of those it mutates.
Have you talked to any of your mutants?
I believe I shall. Don't move. My scientists assure me that nothing is wrong. What do you say to that? Say!
Did you think to ask a female mutant?
Reasonable. One moment. Are you sure? What about the other?
Females.
It cannot be.
Yeah.
But it cannot be. This would mean that
All my work.
has been for nothing. Everything that I've tried to a failure. It can't be. I don't think that I can continue
Continue.
to have done the things I have done in the name of progress and healing. It was madness. I can see that now. Madness. Madness? There is no hope. Leave now. Leave while you still have.
Hope.
Alright. Whoa! There we go. Alright, so that's the same effect as having come in here and hit the self-destruct or hit the nukes. See you later, folks. That is a very interesting comment, and I will get to that when I'm finished running for dear life. Because I need to get out of the cathedral. Pump, pop it up. Let's get the hell out of here. There's also something kind of beautiful there about killing someone with mercy. The master is an incredible intellect. So destroying that, destroying all of his plans, all of his hopes by putting just a little wrench in the gears, a little fly in the ointment, just a piece of data. There's something there. And let's get the hell out of here. This could be it, folks. This could be it.
The death of the Master was the first major step towards ending his mad dream of conquest and enforced peace. But it is the destruction of the vats that neutralizes the mutant threat. Without the ability to create more mutants and enforce their harsh brand of justice, the mutant armies flee to the east, beyond the No Man's Land. The mutant attack on Necropolis spares none of its ghoulish inhabitants. After the mutant armies advance, they leave a truly dead city behind them. The mutant armies, led into battle by the fierce super mutants, destroy the followers of the apocalypse. Barely human carrion feeders pick over the followers' remains. In Shady Sands, Tandy helps her father Aradesh bring a new community and new life out of the broken remains of the world. They are responsible for the new California Republic, whose ideals spread across the land. Killian Darkwater takes firm control of Junktown, drives out the last of Gizmo's kind, and then enforces his own brand of frontier justice. Life is fair and safe under his law. The Brotherhood of Steel helps the other human outposts drive the mutant armies away with minimal loss of life on both sides of the conflict. The advanced technology of the Brotherhood is slowly reintroduced into New California, with little disruption or chaos. The Brotherhood wisely remains out of the power structure, and becomes a major research and development house. The hub disperses before the might of the mutant army, and will never recover. The Desert Raiders eventually regroup and manage to terrorize small communities in the years following your adventures. Your involvement with the various places and people of the wasteland is well documented by future historians. Only a single question remained unanswered. What happened to you?
You've done it. That's wonderful, amazing. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished, what you've endured. There's no way the people of the Vault can ever thank you enough for what you've done. You've saved all our lives. Who knows? Maybe even saved the human race. That makes the rest of this even harder. Everyone will want to talk to you. Every youngster will look up to you and want to emulate you. And then what? They'll want to leave. What happens to the Vault if we lose the best of a generation? What if we are the only safe place in the world? You just gave us back all these lives. I can't take the chance of losing them. I've made a lot of tough decisions since I took this position, but none of them harder than this one. You saved us, but you'll kill us. I'm sorry. You're a hero, and you have to leave.
Get it. That's what Jacob would have done. Ah! What a ride, folks. What a ride. Thank you so much for joining me on that. So we'll let the credits roll for a little bit here, and then I'm going to duck straight into Fallout 2. So getting back to your comment, Damien. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, Fallout does have very much like a strong vibe of physical, and I think also metaphysical transformation. Body horror, absolutely. Such a huge component of it. Yeah, a never-ending series of difficult moral decisions. What do you do with power? Excuse me. Yeah. So I think it's a really good seed back into them. And I remembered what the interesting thing is that I read, and that's that the mutant attack on Necropolis can't actually be, at least as far as this wiki article was saying, can't be avoided. So when I went back to Necropolis, all of the ghouls that I'd been talking with had been killed. There's no way around that. Which is sad. It's good, but it's sad. Oh, look, it's been my absolute pleasure. And I think that's yeah, so I've got some ideas about what I want to do with the character for Fallout 2. Because I started out here with the idea of a diplomatic gunslinger. It did not go well. So we're going to play a little bit with that latent, not sociopathy, but just that latent malice that came out during the game. Because we did some bad things. Maybe did a bad thing. And I think our descendant of the Vault Dweller in Fallout 2 is going to be a little bit more sadistic. Man, what a game! So good. So the core plot that we explored. So we met Harold in the hub, who told us about the expedition to Mariposa, and then we find out more from the audio logs that we actually get when we get into Mariposa as well. But I guess that's kind of like, that's dramatically narrowing it down. There was it felt like throughout there was a really good series of prompts to move from place to place or space to space. Like the writing in the game felt like it was really well designed to push you on to where you should be going to next. Great silly example is in the hub when you're dealing with sort of the hard-bitten weapons guy in the hub. It says, well, this is what I've got, and if you don't like what I've got, then, you can find the really good stuff if you head down to the Boneyard. So you're like, okay, the Boneyard is like the next level of progression. Oh, man. I look forward to uploading this video to YouTube and getting another copyright strike. Right. It does. It really does hold up so well. Yeah, and the performances, you're absolutely right. For my money, I would say in some ways, the technology that they went with, and I get why the approach has shifted over time, but the animation that they put behind the faces, well, I suppose performance capture is a really good way of comparing. Performance capture is like really high fidelity, but if you look in later Fallouts, you're dealing with sort of a static 3D model. There isn't as comprehensive a set of facial animation in there. So the personality I think you get when you deal with NPCs in the ISO games is a little bit more vivid than what you get in the later Fallouts. It really is, like, they really are great personalities, especially because there's a limited number of them too, I think. That they're just so compelling. So for Fallout 2, Fallout 2 is going to be, it's going to be a monster because I did a little bit of research this afternoon and I've picked up a mod called Killapp's Restoration mod, which plugs in a bunch of content that apparently was in sort of varying states of incompleteness in Fallout 2. Like, there were assets that basically were in the binary for the game, that for content that hadn't been enabled. It also fixes apparently a lot of bugs as well. So Fallout 2, like as it stands, is like, I think twice as big, 4 times as big. You might know this better than me, son. But yeah, it's orders of magnitude larger in terms of the amount of content, and so this patch like adds in some additional stuff there as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to digging into that. We'll see how long we go with these credits. I think it'd be nice to be able to leave them roll and have that as part of the stream. So if you want to go grab a drink, we'll probably be back in a couple of minutes, and then we'll start with the intro and character creation for Fallout 2. Otherwise, let's pay a little honor to the amazing people who made this game. Even 20 years ago, the list of names, the number of people involved in making something like this happen, still huge. Oh, I had a question for you lovely people while we've got the credits rolling as well. So I'm going to be playing through Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and the rest of the Fallout series. Definitely, at least Fallout 3 and Brotherhood of Steel, so the tactics game as well, which I'll probably play in parallel to the ISOs. Is Wasteland 2 something that you'd be interested in seeing me play, because it has such a close lineage to the Fallout series? Is that something that people would be interested in, or would you prefer to stick with the Fallout series exclusively? So not saying it's an either or. I'll be playing the Fallout series, and if I add Wasteland 2 to the rotation, it would be in a different time slot. But yeah, is it something you'd be interested in seeing? Here's our cast list. Clancy Brown as Rhombus. Just, Jesus. Fallout, fuck off. That cast list is incredible. Keith David as Decker. Brad Garrett as Harry, as one of the mutants. That's amazing. CCH Pounder as Vree. I was just watching clips from Suicide Squad today, which I believe she plays a major role in. Tony Shalhoub goes on to do Monk. Was Aradesh way back? That was back when I was still dealing with syncing issues. See, people were so patient with that, and I really appreciate that. Frank Welker. The Frank Welker as Maxon. Oh, man. But yeah, Shady Sands was when I was still dealing with like a pulsing issue in the resolution, because I hadn't realized I needed to switch over to Ethernet instead of wireless. Maybe. So it turns out leaving those raiders around was a bad choice. That was hubris. I kind of patted myself on the back for that one there, thinking, well, that's a non-violent approach. The one time I don't go in and just purify a town comes back to bite me. Check that out. X-Files, Xena, Buffy, The Simpsons. A product of its time. Makes me so sad that the new X-Files episodes haven't been good. At least that's the word that I hear. They've not done well, which is a shame, because that show was amazing. Like, that was one of the first pieces of like premiere appointment television. The X-Files? Little 1-hour movies. Because I think that predates The Wire on HBO. I could be wrong. And Oz. It's not like Gillian Anderson, I should say, is spoilt for other options work-wise. All right, let's say goodbye to Fallout 1. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out some of our other videos, and for live content, come join me on Twitch.